Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Strife's Talking Points. And here's a real quick video. Over the last few years, I've become a massive comic book movie fan. I really do love the genre, the movies, the toys, the comics, all the stuff. And this week we have Captain Marvel come out. Well, the first reviews have come out, and I actually watched a video a little earlier from a guy who's much more well known on YouTube than I'll be for probably years and years, and he did a thing where he looked up French reviews, and I actually went and started pulling them up myself just to see. Had to go to Reddit to figure out how to get there, and here is the All Cinema Captain Marvel reviews. They've only got a handful of reviews in because the movie just launched there, and it's right now at a 3.2. The best rating it got so far was a 4-star, 4-star, 3-star, 3-star, 2-star. And I actually went through and read them. Most of this stuff is going to sell you on basic nostalgia. A galactic war between the friendly Kree and the Skull Destroyers. Now, the friendly Kree are the ones from Guardians of the Galaxy where they have been fighting the completely blanked out on who they were fighting, but it's who Ronan is a member of, and they are sacrificing and murdering thousands of people, and the Kree decide not to do anything, allow the slaughter to continue, and Ronan's not their problem. And the people with the star on their chest, Nova Corps, has to deal with them. That took me a minute. And that's who Carol Danvers is fighting for. So it's not a friendly race, it's a galactic conquering race. Nick Fury learns that she has origins on her own planet, and discovers that she is a heroine with phenomenal power. This is translated from French, so the wording won't be exactly right. Adopted from a series of comics created by Stan Lee in 1967, Captain Marvel, the fourth or fifth iteration of the character, features the first superhero of this studio to have his name at the top of the poster. That doesn't make any sense. I guess they're saying Marvel. Entertaining, spectacular, and feminist in its last part. The film oscillates between science fiction, feature film, and a fun, I guess that's pistache of the Marvel universe. Nostalgia of the 90s. It's in the nostalgic dimension of a time, the 90s. Captain Marvel turns out to be it's in its nostalgic dimension of the 90s that Captain Marvel turns out to be its most successful and the funniest, resurrecting pell-mell Fonzie in the series Happy Days, haircuts, Nine Inch Nails t-shirts, and Nirvana songs. Oh, so basically playing to the 90s is where it's most successful. On the comedic side, Brie Larson impeccably embodies this Carol Danvers. Oh, page jumped. Probably a commercial popping up. And they're trying to sell me online legal services. So let's skip to the next article. Love pop-ups. That guy there gave it a 4. Entertaining, spectacular, and feminist in the last part. That's actually a line from there. This guy here also gave it a 4. Get rid of that. For legal services, a newcomer to the monster world of Marvel superheroes, this intrepid captain stands out from the start. An electric presence, literally. She has powers, or almost. Her hands saturated with bullish energy. Carol Danvers, known as Verse, distributes donuts of cosmic dimension to those who seek trouble. Donuts of her powers. French translation again. In this breathless entertainment that leads us to the confines of space, to good old Earth. Definitely always threatened. An episode of the Avengers, I'm guessing. The others by a vast selection of X-rogue galaxies with more or less greenish. I'm sorry, don't understand. It's hard to translate some of this. Skip to the bottom. But even the most unfamiliar spectators of this world will be able to enjoy the well-crafted adventure served with all the usual attractions, aliens actions, derision, and lots of special effects and malicious references, including one of the last appearances, wink, of the venerable Stan Lee, the famous creator of the comics, disappeared last November. Okay, Brie Larson in all categories. Above all, we applaud the entry of actress Brie Larson in the catalog of Avengers. She is the perfect superheroine of the post-Me Too era, feminist in combi, rejecting the grip of male manipulation, all planets origin confused, with as much vigor and charisma as humor. Wonder Woman, her competitor at DC, must feel less alone. Brie Larson's catalog. So they're saying she has vigor, charisma, and humor in this one. They go over a few other items here. And these both gave it 4 stars. It's not glowing reviews. They're just talking about the 90s nostalgia. It's got some good graphics, good CG, and then we move down to the next one. This one here, I believe, gave it a 3-star. The new blockbuster, Disney Marvel, struggling to meet the challenge. Wonder Woman film produced by its rival DC. So they're saying it's not as good and they're struggling. The opinion of World, why not? So their opinion on this is why not go see it? It's not great. Marvel has been scoring with it for a few years. Curiosity to talk to the panties? I don't know. French movie reviews are nuts. Where is it in here? The competition is now ranging on a new vehicle where it is now good policy and good intelligence to pay daring by catching up the lost time. That of diversity. So it's good policy to do that. Visible minorities and gendered professions of faith are therefore up to date. With the success we know about in recent Marvel Black Panther on the women's field, Warner DC have done it first with the cool and distracted distance Wonder Woman, one of his best and most profitable films, directed by Patty Jenkins and Central Gal Gadot. If we want to spread blah blah blah. It's now done with Captain Marvel, the first superheroine movie in a Disney Marvel universe, directed by the first time by a woman, Anna, and co-directed by Ryan. At least we will not blame the studio for this male shadow on the board, since Miss Borden has so far signaled has so far been part of all of her films with the company of this man, who is none other than his legitimate half in the city. Wow, I don't understand any of this. All right, so struggles, not a great competitor against the current Wonder Woman idea. Captain Marvel Javelle review. Far from being umpteenth solo adventure inducing a generic protagonist, Captain Marvel with Brie Larson has on the shoulders with many major issues, foreshadowing the challenge awaiting the MCU in years to come. Joker narrative in the final clash against Thanos. She should also give the Avengers after Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. This first superheroine to officiate a dedicated Marvel blockbuster. Is she up to it? Is this the first? Is she up to it? I'm sorry, this French stuff is crazy. Disney and Brie Larson have long emphasized the genre of characters and supposedly feminist dimension of the film in recent months. This is referring to the male audience, even the lightening of even making certain groups of people unhappy with it. Everything is done here for the viewer used to the production, so it's going to be a normal Marvel production and is never abused in any way whatsoever. Recruited as construction filmmakers, uh, strive to strip the story of any form of personality. So they're saying like they built the movie on the Marvel framework with no personality. That's funny. Even in the French, you can kind of get there. Construction site managers. Located in the 90s, Captain Marvel uses its decor only through thick references and superficial winks. Never does the ensemble question how cutting worthy of a sitcom photography or editing could bring the character to the film. After a few minutes of viewing it, it is impossible to remove a particular image from its jumble. The exhibition scenes follow each other like so many imposed standardized figures. As for the editing of the action, it sometimes bordered enough amateurism to spoil special effects, yet more mature than usual at Marvel. So, so it's a bunch of superhero poses and that kind of mess up its own special effects. As most often in the MCU, each protagonist does his best to diffuse an embargo of drama. I don't know what that word is. The treatment of some ocular manipulation struggling with inconsistency. Alas, this lukewarmness is reflected even in action scenes. So it's not great action according to this guy, even though the rest of them are focusing on sci-fi action. And actually, no, this guy here says there's no charisma in the movie. This guy here said it was great. And he's the only one that really liked it. The rest of them kind of don't overall like the movie. Captain Marvel. However, Captain Marvel manages to score points in areas where Marvel production often proves so deficient. As ubiquitous as it is, the humor is quite effective. It might be regretted that it regularly resolves conflict. So humor to get out of conflicts. When it does not serve purely and wildly to make up the gaping holes of the script. But his rhythm works, as we often did smile, as long as the abominable digital cat that acts as a mascot is not in the game. So they don't like the cat, Goose the cat. Yeah, the actors are not left out, and we have not seen such obvious alchemy. I guess that's chemistry since Guardians of the Galaxy. Samuel L. Jackson. It's fun to shoot the buddy movie. Digital rejuvenation, so Samuel L. Jackson does pretty good. Brie Larson is happy to get out the mono-expressive super combat score that often threatens this character. And while this duo effectively prints the film, Ben Mendelsohn manages to take Talos scroll thinner than it obviously looks, so he's doing a good job. Jude Law seems more concerned with combating baldness than the forces threatening the galaxy. I like this reviewer. I think I'm going to bookmark this. Finally, where Disney seems to condemn his superheroes to play endless dialogues on green backgrounds to occupy bulky bellies at the heart of each of its superhero productions, Captain Marvel made a remarkable effort of tempo. So yeah, summary. Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson's this Captain Marvel with life and charm, boosting the story of their unique tempo, highlighting his rare ideas and strength. So, gets decent reviews. It's not great. It's just, it's an okay movie. It's got some decent stuff. The cat's terrible, but the balding, that's just funny. And this is the Rotten Tomatoes. This actually just popped up. Rotten Tomatoes are at 86. Reviews counted 30. Of course, all the this first female-led movie deserves more. Like its tough, smart heroine, Captain Marvel dances to its own beat and its origin story that isn't structured as an origin story, but gets there all the same. So of course, Rotten Tomatoes are generally always be positive. I'm trying to think of the last time a Rotten Tomatoes gave a bad critic review of a Disney movie. This is kind of what they do. The movie's treatment of its source material is clever. Gave it a B. So it's not considered a great movie even by a lot of these people. Yeah. And I've also been noticing that they're saying there's really no connection between this and the Thanos movie. It's just a Captain Marvel origin story, and yes, the character will be in the next movie, but there's no true tie-in. So anyway, I just found it kind of funny to see the worldwide reviews on this movie. And like most people, I'm waiting for the reviews by a couple of channels before I go, just to see what to expect and if I should take my family or if they don't want to go either, because I've already had my girlfriend tell me she's not interested. Thank you. Hope you have a great day. Goodbye.